talk about those, I'll taste them, and then we might have a try of the Sauternes with the donuts to see if they're a good match. So our three Sauternes, we have three different vintages. There's Doisy-Daene, which is a second growth from Barsac. There is Chateau de Fargues, which is an unclassified Sauternes from Fargues, and then we have Siglas-Rabaud, which is actually from Beaume, so it's a Sauternes but from the commune of Beaume. The Siglas-Rabaud is 2007, the de Fargues is 2011, and I think I said the Doisy-Daene is 2016, so different ages. And you can see this lovely colour progression here. The lighter wine from Barsac for the Doisy-Daene anyway, but going on to the aged Siglas-Rabaud, which has got that sort of beautiful golden colour now that it's aged a bit. In my glass at the moment, the Doisy-Daene. Really interesting chateaus. For the last few couple of decades, it's been one of the leading chateaux of this region. Professor Denis Dubourdieu, one of the professors at Bordeaux University, has revolutionised the way that Sauternes was made. Unfortunately, 2016 was the year he passed away, but the quality of this wine and its value for money has really shone out over the last probably 20 years at least. Just smelling the wine, it has a fantastic clean, almost like a sort of an intense pineapple and maybe a peach nectar aroma. The cleanliness of the fruit is fantastic. Tasting it, it has a syrupy sweetness, but it's not sort of heavy and honeyed and in any way sort of cloying. There's fantastic acidity, goes right through it. The finish is sweet, it's a lovely clean sweetness. So to move on as a contrast, de Fargues, we've gone from the sort of the wine that is probably the most revolutionary in the Sauternes region to a wine that's probably the most traditional. De Fargues, made by the Le Soulis family. For decades they ran Yquem. They've passed that over now to LVMH, but still produce de Fargues. They've actually lived at this chateau since 1472. And I think they burnt it down twice. And this is a much more traditional style. There's a richness and a honeyedness, the deeper colour. You tend to get a fuller bodied wine from places like Fargues and Beaume and Sauternes, the three communes that are furthest from the river. On the palate it's much broader, much more honeyed with spices. There's a real oak influence there that gives us sort of a vanilla note, perhaps some coconut in there. So to move on, finally, Siglas-Rabaud. In 1855 this was classified first growth. People think of the first growths of the Medoc. The first growths of Sauternes were created at the same time. De Fargues, I should perhaps have said, was never classified because they didn't actually start making Sauternes there until 1943 was their first vintage. You can see instantly much deeper colour, much more sort of golden and polished brown sort of notes on it. Much more developed aromas. You can sort of smell polish as well as the sort of the honeyed notes that follow on from what you'd seen in the de Fargues. There's weight, there's richness again. Maybe not quite so fresh. The oak has integrated, it's become more sort of spicy, more sort of cinnamon notes there. So just to look at these and to think about how they might pair with the donuts that we've got, some rather excellent donuts from a local shop. We've got a coconut donut, which I suspect will probably go best with the de Fargues here, because the de Fargues was showing its oak most and had a sort of coconutty note there. So in honesty, the first thing you see is that the sweetness of the Sauternes, because these Sauternes will be somewhere between about 120 and probably 145 degrees percent sugar, grams per litre sugar, that's a better way of putting it. And so the sweetness of the donut is greater than the sweetness of the wine. So as you taste the wine along with that, it seems less sweet, but it brings out the flavours. The coconut cream in the donut sort of goes with the oak, but it's a bit creamy and perhaps a little cloying. Might work better with the Doisy-Daene. Now the Doisy-Daene, which was fresher, I am thinking I will pair with the lemon curd donut there, because that will have greater freshness, I think. And yes, actually what's happening there is the sweetness of the lemon curd is being cut through by the excellent acidity of the Sauternes. So that's a nice pairing. So finally, my glass is confused here, the Siglas-Rabaud, I'm thinking will go nicely with a cinnamon coated classic donut. And actually, in terms of complementing each other, I think that that's the most interesting match of these so far, in that it's helping to sort of enliven the slightly more mature flavours of the Siglas-Rabaud and lifting it a little bit. But an interesting contrast. What I'm not quite sure is the chocolate. I might try that with this as well. It's a pleasant enough combination, but frankly I think we should have had a port with that one. Anyway, however you're celebrating Donut Day, or if you're just deciding to drink Sauternes, cheers everybody.